The series begins with a girl running through a dark forest. From her clothes, it's clear she's a university student. She's terrified, crying nonstop, her body covered in injuries and dirt. But even in that state, she refuses to give up. She keeps pushing through the pain, screaming for help, hoping someone will hear her, but suddenly she trips over a rock and falls hard. In that moment, she loses all hope and feels like this is the end, until someone appears behind her, grabs her, and kidnaps her. A year later, a new academic year begins. We see 6 students heading to apply to a university, but they get lost in the forest. They have a map trying to guide themselves, walking for a long time until they reach the exact same place where the girl was kidnapped. One of them, Xena, feels something is wrong. The place feels dangerous. She suggests they go back to the city, even saying she changed her mind, but her friends laugh at her and refuse. They insist on continuing. As they keep walking, they start feeling thirsty and exhausted. Xena becomes weak and almost falls, but David catches her just in time. He reassures her gently, telling her he's there and will protect her from anything. It's obvious he likes her, and Xena feels happy from his attention. She thanks him, and they continue their journey together until they finally reach the university. But when they arrive, the gate is closed. They keep calling for someone to open it, but no one answers. They feel disappointed and decide to leave, until suddenly a guard appears behind them. He opens the gate and asks if they want to enter. The place looks abandoned, and they feel scared. They almost walk away, but the guard warns them that night is coming, and staying in the forest means facing dangerous wild animals. With their water almost finished, they have no choice but to trust him and go inside. The moment they enter, the guard locks the gate behind them as he takes them to the principal's office. Xena notices something strange. The university students are staring at them in a very unsettling way. She feels like something is wrong. Suddenly, the students start fighting each other violently. The group is shocked, but the guard calmly tells them this is normal and welcomes them to Hell University. Inside the office, the principal introduces herself as the one in charge. She gives them forms to fill out so they can join the university. She hints that everything here is free, even food and drinks. The group is surprised but decides to take the opportunity and join. However, the principal warns them that this university is different from any other. Every day, at exactly 7 p.m., something called Bloody Night begins. During that time, students are free to do anything, even fight and kill. Xena becomes scared and wants to leave, but her friends don't believe it. They think it's just a joke to scare them. They agree to stay for one day only, and if anything feels dangerous, they'll leave the next day. The principal laughs and welcomes them to Hell University, then asks the guard to take them to their dorm. After they settle in, David notices Xena is distracted and not focused. He talks to her, asking what's wrong. She tells him she's worried about what the principal said and fears that someone might get hurt in this university. But David laughs and tells her it's probably just to scare them into following the rules. He asks her to rest because she's tired from the long journey, but Xena can't sleep. She decides to go out and explore the university on her own. She walks until she reaches the garden and sits there. Suddenly, a masked student appears and sits next to her. She notices he's injured and bleeding, which scares her, but he reassures her that he won't hurt her. Then he gives her a knife and tells her she will need it soon. He also tells her the time is 6:30. Only 30 minutes left before Bloody Night begins. Fear takes over Xena, and she runs back to her dorm. At the same time, David is with the others, telling them they need to train and become stronger so they can defend themselves. But they don't believe him because they still think fighting isn't allowed in the university. Suddenly, they hear their friend screaming and rush to check on her, only to find out she's just angry because there's no network or Wi-Fi and she wants to leave. Then suddenly, Xena bursts into the room, terrified. She tells them everything that happened in the garden and warns them that Bloody Night is about to start. And right then, the clock hits 7 o'clock. The alarm goes off across the entire university, and students immediately start fighting each other everywhere. The group is shocked and terrified as they realize everything is real. They quickly lock their dorm door and push a table against it to stop anyone from getting inside. They stay like that the whole night, frozen in fear, listening to the chaos outside while people are brutally attacking each other. They hide until morning finally comes, and when the sun rises, nothing feels the same anymore. They go to the principal and ask her to let them leave the university, but she refuses immediately. She tells them clearly that once you enter this university, you can never leave. Then she warns them to go to their class right now, or they will regret it. Fear takes over them, and they have no choice but to listen. Xena and the girls go to the bathroom to change into the university uniform. While getting ready, they start thinking seriously and agree on one thing. They must work together if they want to escape this place. But suddenly, a bully girl overhears everything. She mocks them and tells them to give up because no one has ever escaped this university, and anyone who tried is already gone. Then she walks away laughing, leaving fear in Xena's heart. They head to their class and something feels off immediately. The students are acting strangely, constantly fighting each other like it's normal. Then the teacher walks in and stops the chaos. He asks the new students to introduce themselves. Xena goes first, then her friends follow, but instead of welcoming them normally, the students start making fun of them, throwing paper, and laughing. Xena feels confused and uncomfortable. After class, they walk out together, but suddenly they freeze. A student is hanging, and the most shocking part is that no one cares. No one reacts. It's like this is normal for them. They later find out that there's an ongoing war between the two strongest gangs inside the university. Fear grows inside them, and they decide to go back to class. Then the teacher returns. But something strange happens. The same bully girl gets angry at him for being late, and instead of reacting, the teacher apologizes to her and begs her not to report him to the leader. Xena notices this immediately. A teacher? Scared of a student? That's not normal. She realizes this girl is dangerous and decides to stay away from her. But at the same time, she gets curious. She asks her about the leader everyone is afraid of, but the bully suddenly grabs her face aggressively and warns her to stay out of her business. She tells her to follow the rules or she will regret it. Xena refuses to back down. She feels like this girl is hiding something, so she decides to follow her. After class ends, Xena secretly follows her, but the girl notices. She walks into an abandoned place and disappears. Xena gets confused and tries to look for her, but suddenly the girl appears behind her and presses something against her neck, threatening her. She warns her not to follow her again, throws her to the ground, and walks away like nothing happened. At the same time, her friends are worried about her. David feels like she's in danger and wants to go look for her, but the others stop him. They trust that Xena is strong and can protect herself. They decide to stay together until she comes back, then make a plan to escape. Xena sits on the ground, thinking deeply, until suddenly a boy wearing glasses appears in front of her. He tells her she's late for class. She tries to ignore him and walk away, but he grabs her arm tightly and warns her. If she breaks the rules again, he will deal with her. Then he tells her his name, Young. He lets go and walks away. Xena freezes for a moment. The name hits her. She realizes he's the student leader, the one even teachers are afraid of. She immediately decides to stay away from him because he's clearly dangerous. She goes back to class and her friends are relieved to see her safe, but they notice her hand is injured. David asks what happened, but she refuses to tell him. The teacher sees her injury, gives her ice, and warns her to follow the rules and not walk alone again. Xena thanks her and promises. Meanwhile, Young is talking to his assistants. He orders them to watch the new students and gather information about them. He specifically mentions Xena, saying she's brave but too curious. He's sure she will break the rules and try to escape, and when she does, they must catch her and punish her. After class ends, everyone prepares to return to the dorm, but Xena refuses. She decides to stay outside and see what really happens during Bloody Night. Her friends try to stop her, warning her it's too dangerous, but she refuses to listen, so David decides to stay with her. He won't leave her alone. They hide together inside a bathroom. He holds her hand to calm her down and she thanks him. She goes to wash her face, staring at herself in the mirror, thinking. Then suddenly, the alarm goes off. Bloody Night has started. The moment they step outside, they see students everywhere, waiting, watching. Xena feels like this is the end, but suddenly David pulls her quickly before anyone notices them. He tells her they have to escape quietly. They start sneaking through the university, trying not to make any noise, but it's too late. The students notice them, and immediately, they start chasing them. They run for their lives, but soon they get surrounded. There's no way out. The students rush toward them, ready to attack. In that moment, David steps forward, and he fights. Despite looking calm and gentle, he turns out to be extremely strong. He starts hitting them left and right, taking down multiple students by himself. Xena joins him too, grabbing a stick and defending herself. Together, they manage to push through and escape. They quickly hide inside a trash container, holding their breath, waiting until the students finally leave. Slowly, they come out, thinking they survived. But then, David collapses. His leg is injured badly. He tells Xena to leave him and run, because he's slowing her down. His body weakens, and he loses consciousness. But Xena refuses to leave him. She holds him tightly and decides to stay no matter what. But suddenly, students arrive carrying weapons, slowly surrounding them. They're ready to finish them. Xena feels like this is the end. Fear takes over her completely. She closes her eyes and starts crying. And then, at the last second, the masked student appears. He steps in front of her and protects her without saying a word. The moment the others see him, fear spreads instantly. One by one, they back away, then run. Xena looks at him in shock and relief, thanking him, but he doesn't respond. Instead, he lifts David onto his back and carries him all the way to the dorm. Their friends open the door in panic when they see them. Everyone rushes to help David, trying to wake him up, but his condition is critical. The masked student calmly explains that he was hit with a weapon, and that weapon was coated with something dangerous. He gives them an ointment and tells them to apply it to the wound. Then he says quietly, if he's lucky, he will survive. Xena feels crushed with guilt. She looks at David, begging him to hold on, not to leave her. But when she turns back to thank the masked student, he's gone, like he was never there. For a brief moment, we see him again, removing his mask and his eyes glowing red. The next day, the others go to the university to attend classes, but Xena refuses to leave. She stays beside David the whole time, watching him silently. She apologizes over and over again, blaming herself for what happened to him. Then suddenly, he opens his eyes. He heard everything. A small smile appears on his face when he realizes she was worried about him. Xena feels relieved instantly. She quickly prepares food for him, making everything he likes so he can recover faster. But then, she notices something strange. He's eating spicy food even though he never liked it before. When she asks him why, he calmly tells her it helps fight the poison in his body. He thanks her for staying by his side, then suddenly asks her if she did all of this because she likes him. Xena freezes. Her face turns red and she quickly denies it, saying even if he was the last person in the world, she would never like him. Then she tries to hit him out of embarrassment, and they both start laughing. For a moment, everything feels normal again. Later, they sit together and talk about what happened. One question keeps bothering them. Why were all those students afraid of the masked guy? They realize he's not normal. There's definitely something behind him. So they decide to find out the truth. They go back to the university and start gathering information. There, they learn that a welcome party will be held for the new students. But something feels off again. Everyone looks nervous, scared, like something bad is going to happen, so they stay alert. After class, they go to the restaurant together. Xena looks at them seriously and tells them they must stay united. If they want to survive and escape this university, they need to act like one team. Everyone agrees, and for the first time, there's real trust between them. Xena then decides to gather more information. She approaches a kind girl and asks to speak privately. They go somewhere quiet, away from everyone, and the girl finally tells her the truth. This place wasn't always like this. It used to be a normal university for rich students. But one day, a crazy scientist started experimenting on students, trying to create immortality and super strength. He gave them a strange treatment, but the experiments failed. Everything collapsed. The students were trapped inside. Chaos spread everywhere. Gangs were formed, and the university turned into a battlefield where students fight every single day. That's how this place became Hell University. But there's one more thing. One student survived the experiment and became something beyond human. No one knows who he is. Xena's heart starts beating faster. She immediately thinks about the masked student. Could it be him? She decides to find him, and because he might be the only one who can help them escape. After the girl finishes talking, she quickly leaves before anyone sees them together. Xena turns back, ready to tell her friends everything, but suddenly the bully girl appears. She heard everything. She grabs Xena by her clothes and tells her coldly, "Now that you know the secret of this university, you will never escape. And if you tell your friends, their lives will be in danger too." Then she walks away laughing. Xena stands there, frozen. When she returns to her friends, she hesitates. She wants to tell them the truth, but she can't, not after that warning. But then they surprise her. They found a way out. If they rank among the top students, they might be allowed to leave the university. Hope returns to her eyes. They agree to attend the welcome party and focus on getting high ranks. Meanwhile, the principal holds a meeting and announces that fighting is forbidden during the party. Anyone who breaks the rules will be punished by her personally. Then Young steps onto the stage. He announces that he will be watching everyone closely. Anyone who breaks the rules will be caught and punished. And just like that, fear spreads through all the students again. Xena returns to the dorm to get ready. While preparing, she notices a paper on the wall. Young is looking for a secretary. Her mind starts thinking immediately. This could be her chance. If she gets close to him, she might find the secret lab. But suddenly, another girl appears. She also wants the position and threatens Xena to stay away. But Xena doesn't care at all. She tears the paper and throws it in her face. That's enough to start a fight. The girl attacks her violently, smashing her against the wall again and again. Xena tries to defend herself, but suddenly Young's assistant sees her and assumes she broke the rules. He raises his hand, ready to hit her, but at the last second, Young arrives. He grabs his assistant's hand and stops him immediately. His voice turns cold as he orders him to go back to class, or he will regret it. Instantly, fear spreads and everyone backs away. The assistant leaves without saying a word. Xena tries to walk away, but suddenly she feels dizzy and collapses. Young looks at her for a moment, then carries her in his arms and takes her to the clinic. He orders the nurse to treat her and stays there until he's sure she's okay. After some time, Xena wakes up and finds her friends around her. Worried, they ask what happened, and she tells them about the fight, and that Young was the one who saved her. Then, suddenly, his assistant walks in, drops to his knees in front of her, and apologizes. He begs her to forgive him because his life is in danger. Xena is shocked. She realizes he's terrified of Young. After a moment, she forgives him, but warns him never to come near her again. He thanks her quickly and leaves. Her friends look at her with admiration. They tell her to eat and take care of herself. Later that night, they all decide to attend the welcome party together. They wear masks so no one can recognize them. But the moment they arrive, the bully girl goes on stage and starts mocking them in front of everyone, calling them weak. Xena gets angry and almost rushes toward her, but her friends stop her. She forces herself to calm down and stays quiet, drinking just to forget. After a while, she leaves them and walks alone. Suddenly, she feels dizzy again. A strange voice whispers to her, telling her not to trust her friends. She can't handle it anymore. She collapses. David sees her fall and runs toward her immediately. He carries her to the clinic, but this time the nurse tells him something shocking. Her drink was poisoned. Her condition is serious, and she refuses to treat her. Then she walks away, leaving him alone. David stands there confused, scared, and desperate. He doesn't know what to do. Her friends arrive, panicking, not knowing how to save her. Then suddenly, a bottle is thrown through the window. On it, one word, antidote. David hesitates. What if it's a trap? But he has no other choice. He takes the risk and gives it to her, then waits. Nothing happens. Time passes, and hope starts to fade. But suddenly, a strange girl appears. She tells them she was the one who threw the bottle and asks them to trust her. Without hesitation, she cuts Zena's hand and gives her the antidote again. This time, it works. Zena wakes up. Everyone feels relief instantly. They thank the girl for saving her life. But just like that, she disappears. No one understands what just happened. They start calling her a witch, but at least Zena is safe. They stay by her side all night until she gets better. The next day, they return to the university. But now, they're thinking about one thing. Who poisoned her drink? They promise each other to be careful and not trust anyone. During class, while the teacher is explaining, Zena suddenly hears someone calling her name. She steps outside to see who it is and follows the voice without thinking. It leads her to the bathroom, and what she sees there freezes her. A girl lying on the ground. Dead. Zena screams in shock. Her friends rush to her, trying to calm her down. Everyone is confused because someone broke the rules. On the day of the party, someone killed. The teacher arrives and takes Zena with her for questioning. Inside the office, Young is already waiting. He asks to speak to her alone and says the moment he saw her, he knew she was different. That's why he chose her to be his secretary. Zena is shocked. She refuses at first, but he explains the benefits. If she accepts, she will gain power and even become one of the top students. She will be able to move freely, even leave and return whenever she wants. Zena becomes conflicted. She asks for time to think. She leaves, but outside she finds her class teacher waiting for her. He asks to speak privately and takes her to the restaurant so no one can hear them. Then he reveals the truth. He's not just a teacher, he's a police investigator. He entered the university to save the students, and he needs her help. He tells her if she becomes Young's secretary, she can get close to him and find the secret lab where experiments are being done on students. Zena feels fear immediately. This is dangerous. She could lose her life. But she doesn't refuse, she just says she will. Think about it. Later, she sits alone in the library, searching for anything that could help, but finds nothing. David comes and sits beside her. He notices she's lost in thought. He gently holds her hand and reassures her, telling her he trusts her and will always stay by her side no matter what. Zena smiles and thanks him, but someone is watching. Young. Jealousy flashes in his eyes. He suddenly knocks the books to the ground and walks away angrily. Then, 7 p.m. arrives. Bloody night begins again. Students start fighting everywhere like usual. Zena and her friends lock themselves inside their dorm, staying quiet. But this time, Zena doesn't sleep. She stays awake the entire night, thinking about everything, about the investigator, about Young, about the truth behind this university. The next morning, they wake up and head to class. But the moment they step outside, they freeze. The entire university is covered in blood, the result of last night's chaos, and fear slowly returns to their hearts. Again, Zena looks at her friends, fear clearly written on their faces, but she forces herself to stay strong. She reassures them that nothing like this will ever happen to them, that she won't let anyone hurt them. Then, without wasting another second, she leaves and heads straight to Young. This time, she makes her decision. She will become his secretary, no matter what it takes, just to protect the people she cares about. Young is visibly pleased when she accepts. He hands her a new uniform and asks her to wear it. He stands outside waiting, almost like he's guarding her. And when she finally steps out, he freezes for a moment, completely stunned by how beautiful she looks. His eyes don't leave her, and for a second, it feels like his heart skips, then beats faster. Zena walks out confidently, and the moment students see her, everything changes. The whispers start immediately. Everyone understands now. She's not just a new student anymore, she has power. No one dares to come close to her. Young takes her to his office, and without hesitation, he fires the previous secretary right in front of everyone. Then he announces it clearly. Zena is now his assistant, his right hand. Respecting her is not optional. Anyone who disrespects her is disrespecting him, and that won't be forgiven. The former secretary leaves, furious and humiliated, while Zena feels a quiet sense of victory. Later, she goes to attend her music class, but she realizes she forgot her tools. She's about to be kicked out, but a student steps in and offers his own. After class, he even stays to help her practice. Xena smiles, grateful, thanking him sincerely. But then she learns the truth. He's part of a dangerous gang. Fear hits her instantly and she tries to leave, but he just laughs. He grabs her lightly and says she's too naive, too easy to trust people. Then he offers her something unexpected, to join his gang. Xena refuses without hesitation. She tells him she's not afraid, especially now that Young would punish anyone who dares to hurt her. The boy is impressed by her courage and lets her go, but not before warning her. Young won't always be there to protect her. She needs to learn how to fight for herself. Before she can respond, 3 students from another gang suddenly attack him. They knock him to the ground and start beating him brutally. Xena freezes, not knowing what to do, but before things get worse, the gang leader arrives and stops everything. He announces that those 3 will be punished because they broke the rules and fought before Bloody Night. Xena doesn't wait. She quietly leaves and goes to sit with her friends in the restaurant, trying to process everything. But Young notices her immediately and calls her over. He tells her they have work to do. David gets angry, ready to confront him, but Xena stops him. She's scared for him, so she goes with Young. While they're walking, a student accidentally bumps into Young and spills juice on his clothes. The boy panics and apologizes quickly, but Young doesn't accept it. Instead, he calmly writes his name down and takes him to an abandoned place in the forest. Xena is confused. All of this just for spilling juice? But then Young explains. That boy is the one who killed the girl in the bathroom. He broke the rules, and because of that, he must be punished. Xena goes silent as Young locks him inside a cell, leaving him there without mercy. In that moment, she finally understands why everyone fears him. He doesn't just control the students, he decides their fate. After that, she leaves, her mind racing. But on her way, she meets the bully's girlfriend, sitting alone on the ground, crying. Xena feels sympathy and tries to comfort her. The girl is surprised by her kindness and asks her for something unexpected, to change the university, to stop Bloody Night. Xena looks at her seriously and promises she will try. Later, she goes to the library, but something feels different. The moment she walks in, students start moving away from her. No one sits near her anymore. No one dares to speak to her. And that's when she realizes it's because of her new position. She's not just respected, she's feared. Her friend joins her, happy that she's now safe, but Xena doesn't look fully convinced. She decides to study harder, determined to rank among the top students. While struggling with a difficult assignment, a handsome student approaches her and offers help. He explains everything patiently, showing her how to solve it. She smiles, thanking him warmly, and they quickly become friends. He invites her to the restaurant, and of course, Xena doesn't hold back. She orders a lot of food, jokingly trying to make him pay, but he just laughs. Everything here is free anyway. They sit together, eat, and enjoy a rare peaceful moment. Soon her friends join them and the atmosphere becomes lively. Laughter fills the table until suddenly a rich girl nearby gets annoyed. She intentionally drops her glass and pretends she's hurt. The handsome student rushes to check on her, and Xena's friend immediately feels jealous, questioning why he cares so much. He explains calmly, that girl is ranked number 5 in the university, and she's connected to a gang leader. If anyone upsets her, they will regret it. Suddenly, a scream echoes through the place. Everyone rushes to see what happened. A student is lying on the ground, dying. They call for help, but the teacher doesn't even care. She just walks away, leaving them there. And in that moment, they all realize the truth. Their lives mean nothing here. That's when they make a decision. No matter what it takes, they have to escape this university. They return to the dorm, trying to rest, but Xena can't stop thinking. Something feels off. She remembers seeing that injured student before in the music room. Without thinking, she starts following the trail of blood, step by step. It leads her somewhere hidden, somewhere dark, somewhere abandoned. And when she finally arrives, she sees something that changes everything. Xena follows the trail deeper into the abandoned place, and that's when she sees him, one of the students who was with the victim. In an instant, she realizes the truth. He's the one who did it. Her voice shakes as she asks him why, but instead of answering, he breaks down. His whole body trembles as he repeats that he had no choice, that he was forced. Then suddenly everything changes. His eyes turn cold, and without warning, he lunges at her with a knife. He thinks she's weak, an easy target, but he has no idea who he's dealing with. In a split second, Xena reacts. She dodges, strikes back hard, and pushes him away before he can touch her. She tries to escape, but he chases her relentlessly, faster, more desperate, until he corners her. Just as he raises the knife to finish it, another student appears. The third one. He stops him instantly. Breathing heavily, he apologizes to Xena, explaining that the gang forced them into this, that they had to do it because they broke the rules. And before she can even process his words, he turns and ends his friend's life right in front of her. Xena freezes. The world around her goes silent. He places the knife in her hand and asks her to do the same, to free him from this nightmare. but she can't. Her hands tremble. Her mind refuses. She drops the blade and walks away, unable to take another step into that darkness. She tries to forget. She drinks, hoping to numb everything inside her, but fate doesn't let her escape. Moments later, she sees the third student falling, lifeless. And in that moment, Xena finally understands. This place is not a university. It's hell. And right there, she makes a decision. She will change everything. She will destroy this system. She will end Bloody Night and save every single student trapped here. Later, Young calls her into his office, asking what happened, but Xena stays silent. She doesn't trust him anymore. She simply ignores the question and drinks water calmly, as if nothing matters. Young's expression darkens. He grabs her wrist, trying to intimidate her, but she doesn't flinch. Instead, she drinks again, proving she's not afraid of him. Everyone watching is shocked. They expect punishment, something severe, but instead, Young lets her go because he's interested in her. He tells her to deliver some files to the principal. Xena accepts without a word. As she leaves, his assistant quietly warns her to follow the rules because Young is dangerous, but she doesn't care. When she returns to class, the rich girl is already waiting for her. The tension is instant. The girl starts mocking her, pushing her, trying to provoke her. Xena tries to stay calm, asking her to back off, but the girl refuses. She shoves her to the ground and slaps her across the face, thinking Xena will stay silent because of rankings. But Xena smiles. Slowly, she gets up, and in one clean, powerful move, she slaps her back, hard. The entire room goes silent. Xena looks her straight in the eyes and warns her clearly. If she ever comes near her again, she won't show mercy. It doesn't matter who she is or who she's connected to. Then she walks away. Behind her, the rich girl collapses, humiliated, swearing revenge. Xena heads to deliver the files to the principal, but something unexpected catches her attention. A photo. It's the principal, when she was young, a student in this same university. The principal smiles and tells Xena that she reminds her of herself, that she rose step by step until she reached the top. Then she warns her to follow the rules and avoid trouble. But Xena says nothing. She simply leaves. Back in class, her friend confronts her, upset about the fight. She tells her she's putting everyone in danger and demands that she apologize. But Xena refuses. For her, dignity comes first. She walks away again. On her way to a meeting, she suddenly feels someone following her. Her heart starts racing. She thinks it might be the gang leader, but it's David. He apologizes for scaring her and admits something softer. He misses her. She's always with Young now, and they barely talk anymore. Xena's heart warms for a moment, thinking he's about to confess his feelings. But instead, he calls her his close friend. Nothing more. Her expression falls slightly, but she hides it and thanks him. At that exact moment, Young sees them together, and something inside him shifts. Jealousy. He calls her immediately to his office and confronts her about breaking the rules and fighting. Xena stands her ground. She tells him clearly she was defending herself, and if time went back, she would do it again. Young stares at her, anger rising, but instead of a harsh punishment, he gives her something unexpected. She has to clean the restaurant. Xena accepts and starts working. From a distance, Young watches her, trying to understand her. There's something about her that doesn't make sense to him. Eventually, he approaches her, trying to get closer. He asks about her family, and for the first time, Xena opens up. She talks about her simple, happy life, about how much she misses them. Young listens quietly, then admits something shocking. He has no family. His voice softens as he looks into her eyes and says, "Then be mine." Xena freezes, completely caught off guard. Her heart starts racing, but she quickly pulls away, unable to face him, and leaves. She heads back to the dorm before Bloody Night begins, but halfway there, she feels it again. Someone is following her. This time, it's not her imagination. Fear takes over. She runs, fast, but it's too late. The gang surrounds her, grabbing her before she can escape. They drag her to their hideout, where the leader is waiting. His eyes burn with anger. He wants revenge because she humiliated his girlfriend. He steps closer and slaps her hard, expecting fear. But Xena laughs. She threatens him instead, telling him that if he touches her again, Young will make him pay. She reminds him who she is now, Young's secretary. The leader hesitates, then smirks. He lets her go. Xena turns, thinking it's over, that she's safe. But just as she's about to leave, he stops her with one sentence. 5 minutes. That's all that's left, before Bloody Night begins. The gang leader smirks and tells her something chilling. Once Bloody Night starts, no one will be punished for what happens to her. Xena's heart drops, fear takes over instantly, and she runs. But time is not on her side. The clock hits 7 o'clock. The alarm echoes across the university, and just like that, chaos explodes. Students start chasing her from every direction. But Xena doesn't give up. She fights back. She pushes through them, hitting, dodging, running with everything she has left, step by step, breath by breath, until finally she reaches the dorm. At the very last second, she slams the door shut behind her. She exhales. But before she can relax, someone grabs her from behind. Her body freezes. For a split second, she thinks it's over. But then she hears his voice. David. He pulls her closer, calming her down, telling her she's safe now. He takes her inside, and the moment her friends see her, relief floods the room. They rush to her, making sure she's okay. But then their expressions turn serious. They remind her that they're a team, that she can't keep doing things alone. Xena lowers her head, guilt filling her chest. She apologizes sincerely, admitting she was selfish, that she scared them, and that she never wanted to put their lives in danger. She asks them to forgive her, and they do, without hesitation. They pull her into a hug, all of them together again. For a moment, it feels like everything is okay. But then they realize something. Their third friend is missing. Panic returns. They thought he was with her, but he's not. David immediately senses something is wrong. He wants to go look for him, but Xena stops him. Bloody Night has already begun. It's too dangerous. She asks him to wait, to trust that he'll come back. Reluctantly, they agree. They try to rest, but Xena can't sleep, not even for a second. She lies there, staring into the darkness, her mind racing. Now she understands. This is what her friends feel every time she disappears. That fear, that helpless waiting, and all she can do is hope that he comes back alive. She quietly gets up and walks to the kitchen, trying to calm herself. She washes her face, but then she hears something, a sound outside. Her heart jumps. She runs to the door and opens it, and there he is, their friend, alive. Relief washes over her instantly as she pulls him inside. She asks where he was, but he just says he was walking after class. And when Bloody Night started, he had to hide until it ended. They ask him what he saw, but he shakes his head. I'm tired. I don't want to talk about it. Something in his voice feels off, but they let it go. He walks to his room and closes the door. The next morning comes quickly. They all wake up early, getting ready for their exam. But something unexpected happens. David is already in the kitchen, cooking. He prepares their favorite food, just like always, and Xena can't help but smile. She joins him, helping out, and soon they're all sitting together, eating, laughing, enjoying a rare, peaceful moment. For a second, it feels like a normal life, like a real family. Xena looks at them and encourages everyone to do well in the exam. If they rank among the top 10, they might finally escape this university. They promise her they'll try, together. When they arrive at the university, they see students cleaning up the blood from last night's chaos, like it's just another normal day. No one questions it anymore. They head to class, but suddenly the teacher calls Xena out. David wants to follow her, but she stops him. She doesn't want him to know the truth, that the teacher is actually an undercover investigator. She meets him alone. He tells her he'll give her a high score, but only if she makes progress. He asks about the mission, about the secret laboratory. Xena lowers her eyes. She hasn't found anything yet. He tells her to get closer to Young. He's the key, the only one who can lead her to the truth. Xena hesitates, but then nods. She agrees. Later, back at the dorm, she stands in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. Her eyes slowly change. She tells herself something she never thought she would say. She has to become cold, ruthless, if that's what it takes to survive and to escape with her friends. The next day, as she walks through the university, weaker students approach her. They're crying, begging her to help them, to stop Bloody Night. Xena's heart tightens, but she shakes her head. She tells them the truth. She's just a student like them. She can't save anyone. And she walks away. At the same time, the principal gathers everyone for an announcement. It's the anniversary of the former director's death. One of Xena's friends boldly says what everyone is thinking, that the principal must have been the one behind it. The room goes silent. Then, the principal laughs and admits it, without hesitation. Shock spreads instantly. As punishment, she orders the students to capture Xena's friend. But before anyone can move, Xena steps forward. She stands in front of her friend, blocking everyone. Her voice is firm. If anyone touches her, they'll regret it. The principal's smile fades. She turns to Young and orders him to punish Xena, but Young claps. He praises her instead, calls her brave, says only he decides who deserves punishment, not the principal. The tension in the room becomes unbearable. The principal's expression darkens, and then she makes a new announcement, a new rule, a new nightmare, Bloody Week. From now on, killing will be allowed all day, not just at night. Shock, fear, silence. No one dares to object. Back at the dorm, Xena apologizes to her friends, blaming herself for everything, but they stop her. They tell her they're proud of her, that she's the only one brave enough to stand up against the principal. Her eyes soften. She promises them something in return. She will protect them, no matter what. She even plans to use the teacher's help to get them high scores and escape before Bloody Week begins. But her friends refuse. They've learned the truth too, about the experiments, about everything, and they've made their decision. They're staying with her until the end. Xena looks at them, deeply moved. She promises again, no one will get hurt, not while she's still standing. Then quietly, she leaves and heads to the restaurant, ready to take the next step. On her way to the restaurant, Xena suddenly notices a girl sitting alone, crying uncontrollably. Something feels off, so she slowly approaches her. And then she sees it. The girl's body is covered in wounds, deep ones, fresh ones. Zena's expression changes instantly. She realizes the truth. This girl is one of the students being used for experiments. Her voice softens as she asks about the secret laboratory, but the girl immediately panics. She shakes her head, refusing to say anything. The only words she manages to say are broken and desperate. "Just run before you end up like me." And then she leaves, crying. Zena stands there, frozen for a moment, then tries to follow her. But suddenly, the bully appears, blocking her path. She warns her coldly to follow the university rules or she and her friends will pay the price. But Zena doesn't care anymore, not after what she just saw. She ignores her and walks straight to the restaurant. Inside, she finds Young already waiting for her. Without saying much, he starts helping her clean. Zena is surprised by this side of him. She tries to refuse, insisting she can handle it alone, but he doesn't listen. In fact, he seems impressed by her independence. As they work, the distance between them slowly disappears. Then suddenly, he steps closer, takes her hand. Zena freezes. Her heart skips. Her thoughts become a mess. She quickly pulls away, confused by her own feelings, afraid of what they might mean. Before she can say anything, Young hands her a small box, a gift. He tells her to open it at the right time. Zena thanks him quietly, then turns to leave. Before she goes, she asks him something unexpected, to leave before Bloody Night begins. For a moment, Young smiles. He's happy that she's worried about him, but he reassures her. He's strong. He can handle himself. Zena nods, slightly embarrassed, then walks away. Back at the dorm, her friends are waiting. They sit together, eating, and she tells them everything that happened with Young. They immediately tease her, asking if he likes her. Zena gets flustered and quickly changes the subject. But David stays quiet, watching. There's something in his eyes, jealousy. He hides it well, then suddenly calls them all to the kitchen. Without hesitation, he hands out weapons, knives, tools, anything they can use to defend themselves during Bloody Week. Zena steps back. She refuses. "We're not criminals," but the others look at her seriously. This isn't about being good or bad anymore. It's about surviving. And the next day, Bloody Week begins. This time, the violence doesn't wait for night. It happens in broad daylight. Right in front of her eyes, two girls start fighting near the dorm. Zena tries to step in to stop them, but her friends hold her back. It's too dangerous. And then, one of them collapses, lifeless. Zena's body goes cold. She can't move, she can't breathe. The reality hits harder than ever before. She turns away, shaking, and runs back to the dorm, overwhelmed by fear and helplessness. That's when she remembers the box. With trembling hands, she opens it. Inside, a knife, a clear message. Young wants her to protect herself. Zena stares at it, conflicted. She doesn't know what to do. But outside, the screams continue. Students begging for help, crying, fighting. She covers her ears, runs to her room, and breaks down. The next day, she forces herself to move forward. She returns to the place where she saw the injured girl and finds her again. This time, Zena promises to help her, to save her, if she just reveals where the laboratory is. After hesitation, the girl agrees. She leads Zena to a quiet, hidden place, making sure no one is around. She's about to speak, but suddenly, the bully appears, and without hesitation, ends her, right in front of Zena. Time stops. Zena's voice trembles as she asks why, but the bully just laughs. She says it casually, like it means nothing, that the girl was already dying anyway. She simply ended her suffering. Then she looks at Zena and warns her, "Follow the rules, or you're next." Zena's anger explodes. She tries to attack her, but the bully easily stops her, mocking her weakness, then walks away laughing. And just like that, Zena breaks completely. She goes to the bathroom, washing her hands over and over as if she can wash away the guilt. The girl died because of her, because she asked for help. She doesn't know what to do anymore. Continue or give up. At class, things only get worse. A student is attacking a teacher, and no one stops it, because during Bloody Week, anything is allowed. Zena returns to the dorm, sits alone, and cries. For the first time, she feels truly powerless. The next day, her friends take her out, trying to lift her spirits. They remind her that they believe in her, that they trust her, and slowly, Zena stands up again. She decides to continue. No matter what, she goes to Young, trying to get closer to him, trying to find the laboratory through him. As they talk, the teacher passes by, glancing at her. Young notices it immediately and asks if something is going on between them. Zena quickly denies it, but before the moment can settle, a beautiful girl approaches Young, trying to get his attention. Zena watches silently, something uncomfortable rising inside her. Jealousy. She turns away, deciding to leave, but suddenly, someone grabs her, a student. He pulls her close, pressing a knife against her neck, threatening her to follow his orders or he'll end her right there. He thinks she's weak, but he's wrong. Zena's expression changes instantly, cold, sharp. In one move, she twists his arm, breaks his balance, and takes the knife from him. She warns him this is the last time she lets him go. Next time, there won't be mercy. She drops him to the ground and walks away. Around her, students stare in shock. Everything about her has changed. Her friends rush to her, noticing her injuries, and take her to the clinic. They ask how she managed to defeat him so easily. But Xena doesn't have an answer, because the truth is, even she doesn't know what she's becoming. She quietly admits that whenever she gets angry, she loses control of herself, that something inside her takes over. Her friends exchange worried looks, but in the end, they're just relieved that she's okay. They take her back to the dorm so she can rest. That night, she suddenly wakes up. Something feels wrong. She goes to check on the boys, but they're gone. Her heart starts racing. The only thought in her mind, they must be out there fighting. She's about to run after them, but her friend stops her, holding her tightly, begging her not to go. She's scared, and she doesn't want to be left alone. Xena hesitates, then slowly nods. She stays, but she doesn't sleep. The next morning, she wakes up early, rushing to check on them. But instead of danger, she finds something completely unexpected. A surprise? They were hiding, preparing for her birthday. Music fills the room as they start singing and laughing, trying to bring a smile back to her face. Xena freezes for a second, then her eyes soften. She didn't expect this. Not here. Not in a place like this. She thanks them quietly, her voice full of emotion. Even in this nightmare, they still care about her. David steps forward and hands her a gift. Inside, a heartfelt message. He finally confesses what he feels, that he likes her, that when they get out of this place, he wants to be with her. Xena looks at him surprised, a little shy, but happy. This is what she wanted, what she hoped for. Their friends cheer, teasing them, saying they look perfect together. Laughing, they tell her to make a wish. Xena closes her eyes and wishes for one thing only, that they all make it out alive, together. After that, they head to class, but Young is already waiting. He calls Xena over. She assumes he's going to punish her again, maybe make her clean the restaurant. But instead, he does something unexpected. He tells her, "Happy birthday." Xena freezes. For a moment, she doesn't know what to say. He even offers to celebrate it with her. And for a second, she almost says yes. But before anything can happen, the principal's voice echoes through the speakers. A new announcement, a new game. Every student will find a name inside their locker. Their mission, eliminate that person. And if someone finds nothing, then they are the target. They have one day, fail, and face punishment. Fear spreads instantly. Students rush toward their lockers. Xena's hands tremble as she opens hers. Empty. Her heart stops. Young looks at her and says it clearly. "You're the target. From now on, everyone will be hunting her." He tells her to defend herself, to use the knife he gave her. Xena doesn't argue this time. She can't. When she returns to the dorm, she takes out the knife, holding it tightly. This isn't about right or wrong anymore. It's about survival. She goes to check on her friends, but they're gone. Again, this time she understands. They went out to complete their missions. Panic fills her chest. She can't just sit and wait. She has to find them. She quickly gets ready, standing at the door for a moment. Her hand trembles as she reaches for the handle. Bloody night has already begun. If anyone sees her, they won't hesitate. But she takes a deep breath and steps outside. Carefully, she moves through the university, hiding in the shadows. Then she sees them. A group of bullies gathered together. She quickly hides, holding her breath. But suddenly, a cat passes by her. It makes a noise. Her eyes widen as she quickly grabs it, trying to silence it. But it's too late. One of the gang members hears something and starts walking toward her. Step by step, closer. Xena's heart is pounding so loud she thinks they can hear it. But just before he reaches her, another student calls him back. He hesitates, then turns away. Xena exhales slowly. She's safe, for now. They enter an abandoned place and Xena watches from a distance. She lets the cat go and thinks about following them, but fear holds her back. And then, the bully appears again, like she was waiting for her. She tells Xena to follow her if she really wants to know the truth. That what she's about to see will shock her. She hands her a mask. Xena hesitates. Her mind drifts back to earlier that morning. She remembers seeing David sitting alone, not himself. He was drinking, barely conscious. He confessed something strange, that she's the most important person to him, that he would do anything for her. He asked her to trust him, no matter what happens. At the time, she thought he was just drunk, but now it feels different. She notices the wounds on his body and asks him what really happened, but he refuses to tell her the truth. Instead, he lies, saying he's just been training to become stronger, all so he can protect them. He asks her to stay with him until he falls asleep, and Xena doesn't hesitate. She gently holds his hand, trying to comfort him, thanking him for everything he's done for her. In that quiet moment, she promises him that when they finally escape this place, they'll be together. She stays by his side until he falls asleep, then quietly leaves him to rest. The next day, she heads to school where she meets their third friend. They walk together, and she asks him about the name he found in the safe, but he refuses to reveal it. Instead, he reassures her that he would never harm anyone. Xena feels relieved, convinced that he's still the same kind person she trusts. But suddenly, they hear a scream. It's their friend. Without thinking, they run toward the sound and find another girl attacking her. Their friend tries to defend herself, struggling desperately, until she finally manages to grab the knife and fight back. In a single moment, everything ends, but the damage is already done. She collapses to the ground, badly injured. Xena panics. Without wasting a second, she lifts her and rushes to the clinic, desperate to save her life. But when they arrive, the nurse refuses to help. She shuts the door in their faces, coldly telling them that the headmistress has forbidden treating anyone during Bloody Week. Zena's heart fills with anger. She doesn't think twice. She storms straight to Young's office and demands his help, but even he refuses, telling her there's nothing he can do, that if she breaks the rules, she will be punished. But this time, Zena doesn't listen. Her friend is dying, and nothing else matters. She pulls out a knife and threatens him, forcing him to come with her. After a moment of silence, Young finally gives in. Together, they rush back to the clinic, and this time, he forces the nurse to open the door. Treatment begins immediately, and somehow, they manage to save her, just in time. At that same moment, chaos spreads across the entire university. Students fight everywhere, desperate to complete their missions before time runs out. Many are severely injured. Some are already on the edge of death. Meanwhile, Zena stands at the sink, silently washing the blood from her hands. Her face is pale, exhausted, heavy with everything she's been through. She turns to Young and apologizes. She asks him to punish her alone, to leave her friends out of it because they have nothing to do with what happened. But Young's answer is cold. He tells her that her punishment is death. Then he gives her one condition. If she survives until the end of Bloody Week, then he will deal with her himself. Zena is shocked. She doesn't understand what changed in him, but she doesn't argue. Instead, she accepts it. If sacrificing herself is what it takes to protect her friends, then she's ready. She only asks him for one thing, not to tell anyone, because she doesn't want her friends to carry that burden. Back in the present, Zena snaps out of her thoughts and follows the bully into an abandoned place. She puts on the mask and steps inside, only to realize it's the gang's hideout. A guard stops her, questioning who she is, but the bully signals him to let her pass. And just like that, she's inside. Zena looks around in shock. The place is filled with students, but they don't look like students anymore. They're wearing masks, holding weapons, their eyes filled with something dark, something broken. These aren't ordinary people, they're survivors, and they'll do anything to stay alive. Then the leader appears. His presence alone silences everyone. He tells them to trust him, promising that if they follow his orders, he will help them escape this place. Then he says something else, that a powerful new member will join them today. Zena's heart starts racing. Something feels wrong, very wrong. The leader calls him forward, and the moment Zena sees him, her world shatters. David, it's him. Everything finally makes sense. The injuries, the pain, the secrets. He went through everything just to join them. The leader orders him to kneel, and without hesitation, David obeys. He drops to the ground, then comes the final step. A burning mark, heated in fire, is pressed against his skin, and he screams. A painful, heartbreaking scream. But he doesn't resist. He endures it. Zena can't take it anymore. Her eyes fill with tears as she slowly steps back, her entire body shaking. This isn't the David she knows. This isn't the boy who promised to protect her. She turns and runs, crying, breaking, completely shattered. She can't accept it. She doesn't want to believe it. The person she trusted the most is now part of the very nightmare they're trying to escape. And just like that, everything changes. Season 1 ends here. But this story is far from over. Season 2 is coming soon. If you want me to recap Season 2 for you, let me know in the comments and tell me, which character did you like the most in this story? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Also tell me which drama you want next. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next story. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.